Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are talking about how you can go to grad school for free. Yeah, you heard me. How you can go to grad school for free. So I'll be sharing different options for you to get funding, basically have a full ride, and I'll be sharing options you likely haven't thought about. So make sure you stick around till the end of today's video. Let's get started. So guys, the first option is that one, we all know, scholarship. So that is number one way you can go to school for free. So get as much scholarships as you can. I don't even need to talk too much about this because we've already talked about it a lot on this channel. I have so many videos about getting funding and all of that. I will link some of them in the description box, probably link one up here at some point in the video. But you guys already know about scholarships, right? So get as much scholarship as you can, either from the school, from funding organizations, from your home country. There's so many scholarship options and opportunities out there. So I think I also have a list of scholarships. I did that sometime last year or 2020, but I'll link those videos so you can check those out and make sure you get all the cash that you can through scholarships. So that is option number one for making sure you get into school and go to school for free. So scholarships is my number one. So guys, another way you can basically go to school for free is to get assistantships. So either that's graduate assistantships, that is teaching assistantships, or research assistantships. So these are the three popular ones, or the ones I know. So these are three options for assistantships. And if you don't know anything about assistantships or how to get them, I did an entire video telling you the difference between graduate assistantship, TA, RA, GA. What are the differences between these three and how can you get these opportunities? So I will also link that video in the description box, where you can basically watch and see what the differences are and how you can get into how you can get GATARA positions. So basically these are sort of like employment from the school. They are not really employment, but let's call them employment, where the school employs you and pays you a stipend. And this stipend, it can be applied towards your tuition, or they give you cash. So they can either say, hey, if you teach this class for 2 semesters, we would like to take $2,000 or $5,000 out of your tuition. Some schools do that, some programs do that. Some other programs are like, hey, we don't have anything to do with your tuition, but if you teach this class for 2 semesters, we will pay you cash of $2,500, something like that. So you want to make sure you get as much assistantships as you can. Also know that the thing about assistantships is they are jobs. You need to work. But they are jobs that are integrated into like your schooling. So it's usually a seamless thing, but at the end of the day, they are jobs. So make sure you don't take too many GA or RA positions, more than you can actually do, because that would be a disaster, right? Because you still need to do very well with your academics, right? In your academics. So make sure you watch that video and see the different assistantship opportunities you have and how you can apply. I think I did another video on how you can interview for some of these positions. So some of them you don't need to interview, they come as part of your admission letter. It's stated there that we're also giving you this GA opportunity, so you don't have to pay anything. It's usually stated for some schools, for some programs in your admission letter, but for some other programs or for some other TAGA position, you need to actually reach out to the professor and interview with them. So you have to do an interview for some of these positions. And usually those ones, it's when you're already in the school, these professors, they usually advertise. Sometimes they don't even advertise, you have to reach out to the professor. But I discuss all of the strategies you can use to get all these things in that video. So make sure you check out that video. And another video I did is how to interview for these GARATA positions. So I'll link both videos in the description box. Make sure you check out those videos. And so the second way you can get good funding for grad school is through assistantships. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, guys, so the third way you can actually get good funding and go to school for free is to negotiate with multiple offers. This is the path barely explored, if there's anything like that. But you guys don't explore that option, and I didn't know about this until like I came to the US. But you can use multiple admissions to get more funding. Here's how it works, right? So you can apply to, and this is why I always say this on this channel, the best time to think about funding is when you're applying, not when you've already gotten all the admissions and then now you're thinking of how to fund it. That is, you've already, you're already wrong by doing it that way. You need to think about funding from the beginning. And this is an example of why it's important. So you can use different admissions, like admission offers, to negotiate. Here's how it works. If you apply to programs that are kind of at the same level, if you apply to different schools that are, at the same level, and when I say school, I mean a specific department, across different schools, right? So if you apply to 3 schools that are considered to be at the same level and you got admission from these 3 schools, right? That is great. Congratulations. But the thing is, these 3 different schools will offer you very different amounts. So let's say across the 3 schools, I know this is overly simplistic, but just follow me. Let's say across the 3 schools, each school, you need $100,000 for tuition, right? I like using $100,000 because it's easy to work with that number. You need $100,000 for tuition for those 3 schools. Now, school A likely maybe you got funding of maybe $50,000. School B, $70,000. School C, $20,000. You can basically go to school A and say, hey, I really want to come to school A. It's the school I've always wanted to join, but school B gave me some more interesting funding opportunity, or they gave me $70,000, however way you want to write it. Is there something else you can do to increase the funding I have gotten from your school? That's school A now. Is there something you can do to increase the $50,000 you've already given me? Usually what you discover is these schools will do everything possible to make sure they increase the funding they've given you so that they can at least, at the minimum, match school B. Usually they will go above what school B has given you. Many times they will ask you, can you show us evidence from school B that you've gotten this amount? Really? So you would actually have to send some admission letter or funding letter school B has given you. And that way, when school A gives you what you want, you can also take it to school C. Basically, you can negotiate. I feel like screaming this one because a lot of international students don't do this. We don't even know it's possible. We don't even know people are doing these things on these streets. Hey, people are doing these things. People are getting funding through negotiation. So you need to think about the schools you're applying to from the beginning. And, of course, don't take a very small school and try to negotiate with a very big school. They usually have to be at the same level. And there's some techniques for doing this, and just make sure that you can negotiate and you can get more funding through this. So I'll say it again, you can negotiate more funding from different schools. That, like, if you don't take anything away from this video, take that away. You can get more funding by negotiating, and I think more international students should do that. So that's one other way you can actually go to school for free. Negotiate your admission offers. So guys, another way you can go to school for free is through corporate sponsorships. So there are companies that actually sponsor their employees. So either that's in the form of student loan repayment or reimbursement, or that's in the form of like direct sponsorship. So let me explain how this works. Depending on the companies where you work currently, it could be a company where you work currently before you went to grad school, or it could be a company you're joining after grad school. And you may not believe this, but a lot of tech companies actually offer some student loan reimbursement that you can take advantage of. Some companies say like $10,000 every year. So basically they can give you a reimbursement to pay down your student loans. So that's for companies that you join after the program. Of course, there might be requirements about like the level you are at that company and things like that. But hey, just know that people are getting student loan reimbursement from their companies. It is happening every day. It is real. Make sure you consider that when you're recruiting as well, if that is something that is important to you, right? So that's for companies that sponsor you after you've gone into the program and you've gotten student loans. They will reimburse you maybe every year, maybe $10,000 every year, up to $10,000 every year, right? But there are companies that sponsor your program. So basically, if you are working with a company before you go to grad school, those companies can sponsor you. A lot of consulting firms do this. They sponsor, hundreds of people through the most expensive programs every year. So if you're working with a consulting firm, or it may be some engineering companies globally, or oil companies, some of them do this, where they'll say, if you've gotten to this particular level in this company and you're going to grad school and it is in a related field, we can basically pay all your tuition fees, or this percentage of your tuition fees. So you want to make sure you pay attention to that. Either the company where you're working before you go to grad school, or the company you're joining immediately post grad school. So those two options are possible. So another way you could go to school for free is through corporate sponsorships. Make sure you explore, like send that email today to your HR and ask about these opportunities. See, especially if you work for a multinational company, see if these options exist. Usually you don't know these things, but people are taking advantage of them every day. Your colleagues in other countries are taking advantage of these things. So make sure you email that HR person and ask about these opportunities, if they can sponsor your grad school, and you may need to make a case for yourself. But this is another way you can go to school for free. So guys, another way you can go to school for free is through loan forgiveness programs. Have you guys heard about that? I didn't know about it before I came to the US for grad school. But hey guys, there's loan forgiveness, and there are certain schools that offer loan forgiveness programs as part of the program, right? So there are some schools that say, if after you graduate, so this is making the assumption that you take a loan to go to grad school. There are some schools, and you want to research that before applying to schools, if there's something that's important to you. You want to research that. There are some schools that basically say, if as at graduation you go into an industry, they have all these eligibility criteria. If you go into this specific industry and earn below this specific threshold, you qualify for loan forgiveness through the school, and they'll have this application basically saying, if you meet these requirements, apply for this loan forgiveness, and all your loans could potentially be forgiven. So that's one other thing for you to pay attention to. There are schools, usually bigger schools, bigger programs, that offer this. Basically, they have a lot of requirements, and those requirements usually revolve around employment, income, and eligible student loans as well. So you want to make sure you check this out, explore getting your loans forgiven. So search for schools that offer loan forgiveness, and also check if you qualify. So that's usually the big deal. Make sure you are eligible to apply for those loan forgiveness programs. So guys, I totally understand there might be some options I've mentioned in this video that are completely new to you. So if you have any questions about these options that I just mentioned in this video, you know what to do. Comment below, ask me those questions. I'll try as much as possible to respond and try to offer the help that you need. So if you are unclear about anything I've said, or any option I've mentioned, or even have experiences to share so other people can benefit from, make sure you drop a comment, and let's just all learn from each other. So one other thing is, if I haven't mentioned any, if there's an option you explored that I haven't mentioned in this video, maybe one way you were able to go to school for free or get more funding that I haven't talked about in this video, please drop a comment. I really want to know what is out there and what options people are taking advantage of, so other people can benefit as well. So comment below, and I'll check it and make sure, you know, I maybe share about it and other people learn about it as well. So guys, if you love today's video, you want to see more funding videos, you want to see how to go to school for free, if you just love today's video, or you just like what you're seeing, make sure you like the video, click the like button, and also subscribe if you want to get more videos from me for whatever reason. Okay, if you want to see more videos from me, make sure you click the subscribe button. I'll see you in my next video.